Thinking about your next holiday but don't want to worry about the planning, the transport and the logistics? That's where touring comes into it. It's one of the easiest, most enriching ways to see the world. From curated experiences to expert travel guides and stress-free travel, touring takes all the hassle out of your next holiday. Today, we're joined by one of the best in the business, Trafalgar, known for their premium and immersive tours. They're all about creating unforgettable travel moments. So let's dive into it and welcome our special guest today, Gemma from Trafalgar. Hi, Gemma.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. And yourself?
Good to be here.
Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, you work for Trafalgar. You must have some of the most memorable stories of some of the experiences. Can you share some of them with us?
Yes. I love this question, but it's also so conflicting at the same time because it's like, which do I talk about? But one definitely stands out. So our biggest point of difference of the Trafalgar brand, and personally my favourite, is our Be My Guest experiences. Effectively, to put it short, Be My Guest is where we're welcomed into the home of a local family and we spend a day in the life of these local families all across the world. The first one that comes to mind would have to be our Be My Guest experience at Castello Del Trebbio. The castle itself is a 12th century castle and it is rich in history, and I mean rich. So first of all, it's actually connected to the Pazzi-Medici family feud, which was a pivotal event in Italian history. I mean, this conspiracy is all about the Pazzi brothers plotting an assassination of the Medici family because they wanted to overrule them and take their status as the powerhouse family in Florence during that Renaissance era. Castello del Trebbio was actually one of the Pazzi family properties, and so there's actually a room in the castle which is referred to as Conspiracy Chamber, and that is allegedly where the Pazzi brothers plotted the assassination of the Medici family. And to give you some context, Pazzi actually translates to crazy in English, which this is scratching the surface. There is so much more to that story that happened, but it is so deeply connected with that history. But that didn't end well for anyone. So let's fast forward to more recent times. There's another beautiful story connected to the castle. This one involves a 20-year-old Austrian young lady. So the young girl actually decided to broaden her horizons and leave Austria. So she caught a train to Italy. On this train trip, she met a 60-year-old Italian man and they fell in love. And so they ended up marrying and having 5 children together and having a beautiful life. To express his undying, profound love to his wife, the gentleman actually wanted to buy her a really special gift. And he happened to cross paths with somebody who was selling a 12th century castle in Tuscany. And it was Castello del Trebbio. So he brought this for his love, to show his undying love to her. And so she adored it. She moved all of the family in and that became their residence. And she began renovations. So she really brought a new life to this castle. The final chapter of the story is the 60-year-old man ended up passing away in his 80s. And really unfortunately, the lady passed away about 18 months later in her 40s. One of their 5 children decided to take over the castle and try to keep it going, and it was her daughter Anna. So our Trafalgar Be My Guest experience is actually hosted by Anna.
Oh.
So we arrived to the castle and the drive there itself is all part of the experience. It's rolling hills, you're in Tuscany, the views that you see on the drive up alone are just absolutely incredible. And then you arrive to 60 acres of wineries. They planted 10,000 olive trees on site, and we spend a day with the family exploring the castle. And what is most important is we have that Be My Guest experience where the family actually cooks a traditional meal for us and we sit down with them, we share wine. To explain it to someone who hasn't done it, you think of those family moments that you have in your home, surrounded by your family, and they're just some of the happiest times. And then suddenly, on Trafalgar, you're in a 12th century castle hearing about Conspiracy Chamber, standing between the 4 walls where this historical Italian moment was allegedly plotted. You're standing in the 4 walls of that room, hearing all about the history, and you finish your day drinking wine with a beautiful family supporting their local way of life.
Oh, just sounds fantastic. And what a story. It has everything Italian in it. Revenge, food, family, love. Oh, I want to go there myself. It sounds fantastic. I was going to ask you on a personal level, do you have a favourite destination that you like to go to? Favourite type of holiday?
Yeah, so people travel for different reasons, right? So for me personally, I love being in the sun, being by the sea. I love pasta and wine. So sticking with the theme of Italy, for me, it's Italy time and time and time again. But in saying that, you really can't move past this question without mentioning our footprint in Spain and Portugal, Scandinavia, Canada. So depending on what people's motivation for traveling is, really does kind of deem what destination we recommend. But for me personally, Italy is life.
Oh, I'm going to have to concur. I absolutely love it. The wine, the pasta,
and wine,
the people.
right? Yeah.
And it's such a diverse place too. You know, for the south of Italy, far different from the north,
Exactly.
Now, for those out there who perhaps don't know Trafalgar, can you give us a little bit about the company?
So Trafalgar is all about stress-free travel. We really take large and small moments for our travellers and make them something magnificent. And what I mean by that is, what we do best is connecting our travellers to local, and it really is opening the eyes and the perspectives of our travellers to local experiences that they might not have experienced if they hadn't have travelled with us. Really for us, it's about, no matter how big or small the moment is, making sure that it's enriching and it's really highlighting local people, cultures, wildlife, and really a huge focus for us is giving back to the places that we are visiting, and that's really through our sustainable travel efforts.
Fantastic. So I wanted to ask, why would somebody book with Trafalgar? Why wouldn't somebody perhaps start winging it on their own and start booking their own travel? What makes a Trafalgar experience special?
I really like your use of words, winging it, right? And let's debunk that a little bit. So why Trafalgar? Traveling with Trafalgar is all about ease of travel. And I really want to debunk the illusion around winging it. You know, I think the appeal of doing it ourselves and traveling on our own is the illusion of freedom and flexibility. But what if I told you that you get that on every single Trafalgar itinerary? There's freedom and flexibility incorporated into our itineraries, but you cannot put a price on the way that you spend your time in destination. And when you look at the reality of winging it, let's look at it as a day-by-day breakdown. So you wake up in the morning and you spend the start of your day looking up, where am I going to go today? Where am I going to eat? Okay, we'll go to that attraction. Now, how do we get there? Okay, and now you start looking up, what's the cheapest ticket or what's the quickest way to get there? So time spent in destination versus time spent in a hotel room Googling. Yes, you have freedom and flexibility to do what you please in destination, but you've lost half of your morning. But then that planning comes around for dinner time as well. Where are we going to eat? Let's say you're in Italy, you don't want to waste one dinner at the wrong restaurant. It's a big responsibility. So when you actually debunk that freedom and flexibility piece, but you're spending multiple times a day, each and every single day, doing that planning and preparation, you're actually losing time in that destination. Whereas with Trafalgar, it's that ease of travel. It's the ultimate travel solution. All of your questions are answered. You will not miss any of the big ticket items. We'll never take you to a destination where you'll leave not seeing, you know, all of the big ticket items that we know are across the world. But what we do best is going beyond that and connecting you to local through our Be My Guest experiences, being escorted by our expert travel directors and our local guides. So it's kind of, when you look at it that way, it's kind of like you still get that freedom and flexibility, but you're making the most of your time in destination because you're escorted by our expert team. You will not miss a thing. Accessing things that you could not access, those local perspectives, if you weren't traveling with us.
Oh, that makes so much sense. The amount of time where is the train station? How do I buy a ticket? How do I get to this attraction? Just sounds like it takes so much of the hassle out of it. So I was going to ask, what can people expect from a typical Trafalgar tour, from that day one through to the final farewell?
So Trafalgar is all about the ease, the expert, the icons, the must-sees, but also the local secrets. So first of all, You cannot put a price on the power of group travel. The people that you meet, sharing these amazing experiences with people from completely different backgrounds to you. So that already is such an enriching experience because we travel to connect with people, right? So already being surrounded by like-minded travelers, you already have a foundation for an amazing relationship. But in destination, you're escorted by our expert travel directors, and I don't use the term expert lightly. They have been on the road with us for years. It is fascinating. They know absolutely all of the relevant facts and everything you need to know in destination. But what's different about us as well is we actually have local specialists who come and join us in destination. So whilst our travel experts, our travel directors really are the experts in their field, particularly for us Western travelers. They know how to cater to us. They know what questions we're likely to ask and what travel requirements we have. Being joined by local specialists in destination means we have an extra person who comes and joins us. They could be born and bred from the region that we're in. And it's their job to really bring the destination to life through the lens of a local. The restaurants that they take you to are multi-generational family restaurants that have all of this history, and you wouldn't know to go there if you weren't traveling with us. So our staff on road are just absolutely incredible, and they support our travelers every step of the way. The properties we stay in are very well sought after properties in prime locations. And of course, there's also our iconic experiences like Be My Guest as well.
Oh, fantastic. There is no such substitute for local knowledge, is there? Things you can never find on your own that aren't on the internet. That's where the real experiences are. Also like that whole traveling with people that you get to connect with as well, because you're right, we do travel not so we can be alone, so we can share them. Now I wanted to ask, Trafalgar, anything new coming up and exciting for 2025?
Yes, in fact, I actually just found out this morning. So this is brand new, as in it was news to me this morning. So we have new tours coming. We've got some new stuff coming in England, some more refreshed stuff coming in Spain, Portugal, Morocco. But what I'm most excited about is our new destinations that I found out about. So Trafalgar is launching South Korea, Sri Lanka, and some new product around that Balkan Riviera, which just looks absolutely beautiful. So this is hot off the press. It has not been announced.
Fantastic.
This is me announcing it. So yeah, very excited about that.
Excellent. To add to the already fantastic destinations that you already have. Now I wanted to ask Gemma, you've sold it to me. I'm completely sold. Now, for anyone out there who might be listening or watching that still on the fence a little, is there something you could tell us to get them booking those Trafalgar tours?
Yes. So I have a colleague here in Queensland that I'm so lucky to work alongside. He has just come off the road with us from being a tour director for 14 years. And so the one thing he said to me that has just resonated was that people don't come home talking about the Eiffel Tower after traveling with us. They come home talking about Be My Guest, our staff, and the people that they met. So it isn't exactly the sights that you see, because that's an expectation when you're traveling, right? But all of those components are the essence of Trafalgar. So it is actually the Trafalgar experience that they are coming home raving about. And you can imagine those memories. You would come home with those memories for life. And that feeling of breaking bread with local people, eating local foods, drinking local wines, that really is the essence of Trafalgar and the way that we connect our travelers to local.
Sounds amazing. Like I say, you've sold me, and I'm sure you've got a few more other people very, very interested in booking those Trafalgar tours. Well, thanks once again for coming and sharing those wonderful stories and experiences with us today there, Gemma.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. And if you'd like to book one of those amazing Trafalgar experiences, head to our website or come in and see one of our travel experts in store, and we'll have you on your way.